If you answer that question, then you are in the way to solving Kenya's problem. You see? South Korea now did an agricultural revolution. It is self-sufficient in terms of food production. People don't sleep hungry in South Korea. They transformed their rural economy. People live in proper towns, villages, which are properly planned. They invested in industries. You'll find Hyundai is manufactured in South Korea. LG, manufactured in South Korea. Samsung is manufactured in South Korea. You are around here still cannot even manufacture a needle in Kenya. You go to South Korea, you see the complete transformation of life of the people. Because they invested first in skills development. They invested in education of the people and were able to attract investment from outside South Korea and took off. So South Korea is no longer a developing economy. It is now a first world economy. And they've done that within, actually they did it within 30 years. Kenya is still where it is. And unless there is thinking out of the box, another 50 years, Kenya still will be where it is today. Where it is today. China, this is a transformation. China, when they changed course, what they did first, they opened up. During that other period, they invested heavily in manpower development. They trained highly skilled, cheap labor. That when they were now liberalizing the economy, it became a very attractive investment destination. Many industries in the West were rushing to China because the manpower there is skilled, highly skilled, and cheap. And raw materials they're also importing cheaply and manufacturing. So most of these big manufacturing plants went to South Korea, went to China. You find Mercedes is there, the plant. You find Peugeot is there. BMW is there. Volvo is there. Ford is there. Nissan is there. Toyota is there. Hyundai is there. All these manufacturing companies, vehicle manufacturing companies, are in South Korea. You see a Mercedes-Benz in the DG Dobby here, you think it's made in Germany. No, it is made in China. They tell you in Germany, because I lived in Germany for a long time, 8 years. They tell me that Raila, it is cheaper to manufacture Mercedes-Benz in China and ship it back to Germany than the one that is made in Stuttgart. And China is making money. Within the last 30 years, China moved 300 million people from poverty to prosperity. From poverty to middle income status. China today has got 500 million people who are middle class. The biggest middle class in the world is Chinese. But China is no longer a cheap investment destination because they have become more affluent. People are now demanding more money. There's a gap which is opening up below China. That gap can be filled by Kenya. And these are the people here. And what you need to do is to first invest in manpower development, impart proper skills to our people. Down there, middle level, and upper here. where you guys are, the graduates, so that these are the people who, what they are looking for are meaningful jobs. Meaningful jobs. In China, all the graduates coming out of our universities can be absorbed by very few enterprises only. So you need to be able to think big the way the Chinese thought big. This country has got very brilliant people, and we can train more of them and create opportunities for these people to be able to be more meaningfully employed. Somebody comes and tells you about a wheelbarrow. What do you do with a wheelbarrow? You spend so many years of training as you need, and somebody tells you that something that will liberate this country is a wheelbarrow. What we need is innovation and opportunity for meaningful engagement. Something that is well thought out. A proper program for transformation of our society from a second-class economy to a middle-income economy. That's why we came up with Vision 2030. When we were in the Grand Coalition government, we came up with Vision 2030, which was aimed at transforming Kenya's economy from a third world economy to a middle income status by 2030. And we had a clear roadmap. We came up with SGR to build a railway line from Mombasa, Nairobi, modern railway line, and take it all the way to Kampala. We came up with LAPSET, the Lamu Port, South Sudan, Ethiopia Transport Corridor. We came up with ICT, Konza City. We came up with resource centers in Mombasa, Lamu, Isiolo, and Lake Turkana. The special economic zones, Mombasa, Lamu, and Kisumu. There's nothing about the river. Then we talked of manpower development and investing in manpower development. But what has happened? SGR, I'm telling you, was a Grand Coalition government project. It was done under the office of the Prime Minister. It was conceived, it was even awarded. We awarded the contract to a contractor, $2.7 billion. What did they do when they came to power? They canceled the contract. They retendered it. Awarded it at $3.5 billion. It went to $4 billion. It went to $4.3 billion from 2.7. So it is finished, but at what cost? And that's why it costs so much to use the SGR. It would not have happened under the Grand Coalition government. I can go on and I want to give you other examples. So, I don't want to answer for the other people. But what we are saying is that there are other ways of changing, transforming this country to where it should be. It's not empty rhetorics. You come and tell Kenyans that we want to build a high-tech economy. These people, we are analog and these people are digital. We are digital, these people are analog. Within 6 months, each and every child is going to be having a laptop in all our schools. It's a 6 month. Those children are now going to do standard 8. They have never seen the laptop. It's a 6 months. You said you're going to create 1 million jobs every year. Every year, 1 million jobs. Now, the 8th year, there should be 8 million jobs. The rate of unemployment has gone up from where we left it in Grand Coalition government. Where are these 8 million jobs? You've forgotten that you promised 8 million jobs. Now you're saying you want to mama mboga, mtu wa mkokoteni, mtu wa wheelbarrow. Why wheelbarrow? You say modern jobs. Where are the modern jobs? Mr. 6 months. You said you're going to build modern stadia, each and every county, 47 counties. Each and one of them will have modern sports complex where the youths are going to be able to train. Where are them, Mr. 6 months? Where they study? Even Kipchoge Keino Stadium, which we left under construction, it's been dormant. I just read in the paper yesterday that now they're starting again to do something. If you go to Embu, they don't have that stadium. You go to Tharaka-Nithi, it is not there. You go to Kericho, it's not there. You go to Mandera, it's not there. You're going to go to those counties. They have not been done. You've forgotten about what you promised. Now you're promising wheelbarrows. Instead, this is what is called political hypocrisy. We talk about what is feasible, what is achievable. And I want to be frank and honest with you people, that there is a way of liberating the people of Kenya. There's a way of changing how our country is run. The level of corruption has been too high. People are more concerned about what they are taking out of it than what they are putting inside it. So that is what has continued to impoverish our people, our country. Kenyans deserve better. And I'm sure that we can achieve better. We can transform this country. We came we came together. When everybody knows what happened, where we're coming from, and the reason why we did the handshake. The handshake was based on clear understanding that is a problem in our country. Serious problem. And if you continue that way, it was a recipe to Somalia. We'll take Kenya to Somalia. And taking Kenya to Somalia, you know what's happening in Somalia. So that's why we said we retreat and agree to compromise so that we can change things for the better. And that's why we identified 9 points, which are actually incorporated in the Memorandum of Understanding, and hence the BBI. The BBI, as it is right now, is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is the one that is dealing with issues which are administrative, which requires administrative action, which the government should have implemented and have not been implemented. Things to do with things like Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission report, Dungu Land Commission report, issues like Kriegler report, and so on. Those are issues that require only administrative action by the national government or county government. Then the legal reforms, second category. Laws which are either outdated, which requires amendment, or those which need to be introduced, which are not there. There already are 12 bills which have been drafted, which are awaiting the passing of the BBI so that they can be taken to Parliament to be legislated. That is another category. The third one, as they want, will require constitutional amendment. Like we'd said in the old constitution, that in order to make revolution work effectively, at least 15% of resources should go from the national government to the county government. They have been stuck on 15%. That's why we're now saying minimum 35% of resources from the top should go to the counties. And then out of that goes to the counties, 5% goes to the wards. So each ward will have ward development fund, which will help the youth and also the women. Then we also said, they've been talking about the youth enterprises, getting at least 25% of all the national government projects and the county government. It has never been implemented. So you said now we are creating a youth commission as a constitutional commission, which will ensure that everything that is required to be done is actually done. That commission, as an independent constitutional commission. Then create a youth development fund through which the youth and the women can borrow money and use it to start enterprises and don't have to pay any interest for 70 years until the businesses have matured. That's when they begin to repay the interest. So this will empower the youth so that they can be able to transform their socio-economic status. This is a much better way of dealing with the youth unemployment. The youth